What is up, y'all? Y'all hear the Smoker in 420. This is Memory Haze, a solo show with your boy Mike on Gen X Mandela Effect, the Smoker edition, y'all. Alright, so what's up, Memory Travelers? Welcome to another episode of Memory Haze, coming to you from our little smoke room studio where we can all just relax and get real about the weird glitches in our collective consciousness. So, do you ever get that feeling that you remember something so clearly, but hey, then it turns out your memory is completely wrong? Happens to me all the time. And not just you and me, but like thousands of other people remember it wrong in exactly the same way. So that's what we call the Mandela Effect. And we covered the Mandela Effect on here before, one of my first shows, but we're going to go back and retouch some newer Mandela Effects that affect us Gen Xers. And the Mandela Effect is named after all those people who swore Nelson Mandela died in prison back in the 1980s, when in fact he actually lived until 2013. Alright, y'all, so tonight we're diving into bizarre memory glitches that will really mess with us Gen Xers. This is the stuff that makes us question whether we're losing it or if the universe is just gaslighting us, you know? So, y'all get comfortable. Let's start with the Coca-Cola logo. Let's say that this is something we all think we remember perfectly. The Coca-Cola logo from the 1980s. I mean, I must have seen this thing 10,000 times growing up. But here's where it gets a little freaky, y'all. A ton of us Gen Xers swear that the swoosh under the text was more pronounced back then. More dramatic. More 80s maybe? But when you actually look at OCANs and AS, it's basically the same damn logo they've been using since 1886. So, let me ask y'all, why do so many of us remember it differently? I mean, is it because everything in the 80s was exaggerated? Like the hair, the colors, shoulder pads. I mean, our brains just assumed the logo matched the era's aesthetic, maybe? Or maybe we are remembering another timeline, y'all. I mean, either way, take a good look at this can. It's probably not what you remember. And hey, that's the thing about memory, y'all. It is not a recording. It is a reconstruction. And sometimes the editor likes to get creative, fill in some things. It does make you wonder what else we've cobbled together up here. You know, up here, that we swear was real. The older I get, all kinds of stuff from my childhood that I thought was one way seems to be different. So I don't know anymore. All right, but next we've got the big piano. All right, y'all, we've all seen Tom Hanks in Big. Classic film that convinced an entire generation that adulthood would be way more fun than it actually turned out to be. All right. That famous scene at FAO Source with a giant floor piano. Hanks and Robert Loggia hopping around playing chopsticks, right? I mean, that was an iconic moment. Like, it was burned into our brains. Except, they didn't play chopsticks. They played Heart and Soul first, then transitioned to chopsticks. Like 2 songs, not one. Now, I've seen this movie probably 20 times. And I would have bet you money that they had only played chopsticks, guys. But, watch it again. Heart and soul comes first. Alright, so, our brains prioritize the punchline and often discard the setup. You know what I mean? So, chopsticks is funnier, more memorable. So what happens is that's what gets stuck up there, right? Our memories are editors, not archivists. They keep the good parts and they kind of dump the rest. But is that just how we remember high school? The wild parties? That big game we all went to? I mean, not the 500 boring math classes in between, right? Think about it. All right, all right. So, Silence of the Lambs, y'all. Hello, Clarice. One of the creepiest greetings in film history from Silence of the Lambs, right? I mean, the way Anthony Hopkins says it really just sends chills down your spine. Except he never says it. Not in the first meeting, at least. What he actually says is, "Good morning." I mean, what the hell? I mean, I can hear him saying, "Hello, Clarice," in my head clear as day. And I am not alone, y'all. There are millions of people who remember this line that never existed. What? Like, psychologists call this script memory, where we create dialogue that feels right for the character. Like, "Hello, Clarice," feels like something Hannibal Lecter would say formal, polite, and a little deeply unsettling. So what happens is our collective consciousness basically rewrote the script. Is that what we're saying? I don't know. Makes you wonder if our memories of people we know are actually factual. Maybe we're all just characters that someone around us is constantly rewriting. Think about that. All right, y'all. Next, if you build it, they will come. Now, this is one of the most quoted lines, and it is from Field of Dreams, right? No. The actual line is, if you built it, he will come. Not they. He. Huh. Now, it makes sense when you think about the plot. I mean, the whole point of all this is for Kevin Costner's character to reconnect with his dad, right? And it wasn't about bringing a crowd of people to see the baseball field, but somewhere along the way, our collective memory changed he to they, right? I mean, maybe because they will come makes for a better inspirational quote. Like, it's more universal. Build something great and people will appreciate it. Now, that's a message we all want to believe. I mean, hey, honestly, it is better. Sometimes the misquote improves on the original. Like our collective unconscious working as an editor, making reality more poetic than it actually was. Hurt. All right, y'all. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, did David Bowie's eyes actually match, y'all? Was your childhood best friend Skechers or Sketchers with a T? And what was Mr. Rogers really singing about? The Haze continues right after this, y'all. And we are back. All right, y'all. David Bowie's eyes. We're halfway through. David Bowie, the Thin White Duke, Ziggy Stardust. Now, this man had many identities. But hey, one consistent feature we all remember, heterochromia. That's right, y'all. One blue eye, one brown eye, correct? Except Bowie didn't have different colored eyes, guys. Now, he did have a condition called anisocoria, where one pupil is permanently dilated. Now, both his eyes are blue, but one did appear darker because of the enlarged pupil. Huh. Now, guys, this one blew my mind because I would have sworn on my vinyl collection that he had two different colored eyes, you know? But this misconception was so widespread that even major newspapers reported it wrong in his obituary. So, there you go. Alright. But hey, it makes sense that we'd want to believe it. I mean, David Bowie, he was an alien, right? Otherworldly. So having two different colored eyes fits his persona perfectly. So again, our memories probably conform to what felt true, not what was true, y'all. And ain't it strange how we can be so certain about things that never were? Alright, next, Atari Pac-Man. Alright, y'all, let's go back to those 80s gamers. And we're talking about that incredible Atari 2600 Pac-Man cartridge. Think about it. Get it in your mind. 2600 Atari. Pac-Man. What color was it? What did the label look like? Now, if you're like most Gen Xers, what you're picturing doesn't match reality, guys. The original release had this silver gray label with red and blue elements. But you ask 10 different people, and you'll get 10 different descriptions, I promise you. Now, part of the issue is that there were multiple variations over the years, and different retail releases, re-releases, but even accounting for that, people's memories do not line up with an actual version that existed. But, of course, now we were all playing these games on those fuzzy CRT TVs after chugging Joe Cola and eating a bunch of Cheetos. Cheetos sounds good right now. But anyway, that is not exactly optimal conditions for forming accurate memories, y'all. Alright, but then again, given how disappointing the actual Atari Pac-Man game was compared to the arcade version, maybe misremembering this one is a form of self-protection. You know what I mean? Like some memories are better left. Enhanced? Alright. Skechers. How's it spelled? Is it S-K-E-T-C-H-E-R-S or S-K-E-C-H-E-R-S? How do you spell it? If you said Skechers with a T, you're with the majority of us, and you're wrong. It is Skechers with no T. Like, it has never been Skechers with a T. And I'm going to tell you, this one drives me crazy because it logically should have a T, right? The name is derived from sketch, which has a T. So our brains must autocorrect to what makes logical sense. Maybe. I mean, it's kind of like the universe is trolling us with these little glitches. And hey, the craziest part is how many people will argue to the death that it used to be spelled differently. That somehow, along the way, the company changed their name? I don't know. Maybe they did. Just in another timeline? Or maybe our brains just can't handle intentional misspellings. Like, either way, y'all. If y'all have been saying Skechers with a T your whole life, welcome to the club, y'all. Thank you for joining. Alright, anyway. Moving on to number 9. We're getting close to wrapping it up, y'all. If you like what I'm doing here, make sure and go over and hit that like for us and help us by sharing, guys. And with that said, number 9 is Mr. Rogers' song. Alright. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. No? Wrong. Did he actually say, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood? Not the neighborhood. This neighborhood. Now, I've probably heard that song 100 times. And I would have bet you anything it was the neighborhood. But if you go back and you watch any episode, it's always been this neighborhood, y'all. Fred Rogers was specifically singing about the particular neighborhood on the show. Not neighborhoods in general, but the neighborhood. Hey, it sounded better rhythmically. So that's what our brains recorded. Or another timeline. Alright, anyway, sorry, Mr. Rogers, that we collectively rewrote your song. I mean, not very neighborly of us, is it? Anyway, number 10. Jinko Jeans logo. Alright, y'all remember these pants. They were 18 times too big, but fit in the waist. And this is the crown jewels of the 90s fashion disasters. Alright, the pants so wide you could fit your entire CD collection in one pocket. Alright, many Gen Xers swear the logo placement and the design were different than what they actually were. Now, some remember the crown logo prominently on the back pocket, while others on the side seam. Some bigger, some smaller. Now, what's interesting is that Jinko did have multiple logo placements throughout the 90s. And people tend to mentally standardize their memory to one version. Probably what they had. I mean, that would make sense. Or what so-and-so wore. Alright, anyway. Maybe the logos were just so far apart on these enormous jeans that no one could see them all at once. I mean, either way, your Jinko memory is probably as baggy as the jeans themselves, y'all. Alright, so what does all this mean, y'all? Now, are we living in a glitching parallel universe? Are we all just characters in someone else's simulation? Or are our Gen X brains just fuzzy from too many late nights watching MTV or too much medicinal marijuana? Alright, the fascinating thing about the Mandela Effect is what it reveals about how memory actually works, y'all. Now, we don't record perfect copies of reality. We store impressions, emotions, and highlights. Then our brains fill in the gaps with what seems logical or what fits the narrative that we've created. Hey, and there's something beautiful about these shared false memories. Like, they connect us in a weird way. Nothing brings Gen Xers together faster than arguing about whether Curious George had to tell or if C-3PO was all go. Alright, y'all, so the next time you find yourself absolutely certain about some detail from our collective past, maybe take a beat. Your memory is not broken. It is just created. And maybe, just maybe, you're remembering another timeline Darth Vader really did say, "Luke, I am your father." Anyway, until next time, keep questioning reality, but don't forget to enjoy the haze. I will see you in the smoke room next time, guys.